Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. Brooklyn Center Police Department has released the officer that was responsible for shooting and killing Dante Wright. And as you know, she is a female. So let's read this article, and this article comes from the Daily Beast. It says Minnesota City was gripped by protests for a second night in a row as officials released the name of the white cop who fatally shot a black man during a traffic stop, apparently after she mistook her handgun for a taser. Officer Kim Potter, a 26-year veteran of the Brooklyn Center Police Department, was identified as the person who fired a bullet into 20-year-old Dante Wright's chest. Demonstrators flouted a curfew Monday to take to the streets and demand Potter be fired and charged. She has been placed on standard administrative leave, according to the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Wright's death sets off a series of demonstrations that are occurring against the backdrop of Derek Chauvin's murder trial in the neighboring Minneapolis, which also involved a black man, George Floyd, killed at the hands of police. People have been demonstrating outside Brooklyn Center Police Department headquarters since Sunday. Cops had used tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber bullets to control the crowd. The Department of Public Safety Commissioner John Harrington said Monday that the National Guard presence will remain robust over the next 2 or 3 days. And ladies and gentlemen, let me stop you right there. You know, y'all, it's funny that they're going to use, the National Guard to control the crowd when it comes to protesting justice, right? But they're not bringing D.C. National Guard in Capitol Hill to control their crowd. And they had weapons on them, most of them. And they've been violent. They kill a police officer, and there's no National Guard anywhere. So this to me shows you all where their loyalties lie, right? And yet they wanted to use the National Guard to control the crowd when it comes to fighting justice. Fighting injustice when it comes to police officers killing unarmed black men or black women or black kids. But they're not going to control the crowd in Capitol Hill when basically they had weapons. They took over the entire Capitol Hill. Okay. Let's continue. Protesters remain outside well past the 7 p.m. curfew ordered by Governor Tim Walz in the aftermath of the fatal police shooting of Wright. National Guard troops joined police to keep the crowd under control as night fell upon the city in turmoil. In video footage from the body cam borne by Potter during the fatal Sunday traffic stop, a second cop can be seen yanking Wright from the vehicle after pulling him over for what police first said was an outstanding misdemeanor warrant. An explanation they later revised to say Wright had in fact been stopped for having expired license plates. Wright's mother said her son called her during the incident and told her he had been pulled over for having an air freshener hanging from a rearview mirror, a citable offense in Minnesota. Wright can be seen in a body cam video getting back into his SUV when Potter pulls her gun and yells, "Taser, taser." She then shoots Wright, immediately claims, "Holy shit, I shot him." As I watched the video and listened to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. Brooklyn City Police Chief Tim Gannon told reporters in a press briefing, the Hennepin County medical examiner declared Wright to have died from a gunshot wound to the chest and classified the manner of death as homicide. I'm going to stop you right there again. So if the Hennepin County medical examiner declared Wright to have died from a gunshot wound to the chest, and then they classified this incident of death as a homicide, how come this officer would have been fired and arrested for murder? Oh, that's right. Police have this protection. And guess what? This same officer that shot Dante Wright, she's also the former president of the police union. That's right, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So let's continue with this article. So in 2019, Potter, who was the police union president at the time, was admonished by investigators for allegedly attempting to conceal evidence after a police shooting that left a 21-year-old autistic man dead. Officer Potter instructed Officer Turner and Akers to exit the residence, get into separate squad cars, turn off their body-worn cameras, and to not talk to each other, states report issued by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. And no charges were filed in that case. I'm going to stop you right there. So she has a past. As a police union president, she tried to corrupt the officers that killed a 21-year-old autistic man, right? And then she instructed these officers to get to this separate squad car, turn off their body cameras, and not talking to each other. That's a cover-up. I'm surprised they didn't let her go then. In 2019 was 2 years ago. So she did a lot of dirty stuff behind the scenes. And obviously she's still on the force. Wonderful. It says Potter has also been on the receiving end of the accolades. In 2016, she was honored for successfully ending a standoff the previous year with an apparently armed man threatening suicide. The Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center was established in 1911 on land owned by a county sheriff and Ku Klux Klansman named Earl Brown. Wonderful. Who was also a founding member of the Minnesota Highway Patrol. Brown also served as vice president of the Minnesota Eugenics Society, a virtually racist organization that promoted the sterilization of the feeble-minded. Hennepin County, which includes Brooklyn Center, is subject to the curfew, as are Ramsey, Dakota, and Anoka counties. The same curfew will apply in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, their mayors announced. The shooting and continued tightening restrictions on public protests had not only heightened tensions among protesters, but among many Muslim residents of the area. By imposing a citywide curfew on the very first night of Ramadan without consulting Minneapolis Muslim leaders, our leaders have undermined the community's trust and violated Constitution, Jelani Hussein, executive director of Minnesota chapter of the Council of American Islamic Relations, said in a statement. Public officials must amend the curfew in order to respect freedom of religion, including the right to gather and worship during Ramadan. Wright's killing has already shaken up city government after Brooklyn Center Mayor Mike Elliott said he believed the officer who shot and killed Wright should be fired, echoing a demand made by local activists. Brooklyn Center City Manager Kurt Bogany said the officer would be afforded due process. Elliott later announced that Bogany had been relieved of his duties and the deputy city manager, Reggie Edwards, will be taken over. All of the world is watching our community. We continue to be distressed as we go through the Derek Chauvin trial, Elliott said. We will get to the bottom of this. Wright had a minor police record with 2 petty misdemeanor charges filed against him in August of 2019 for selling marijuana and disorderly conduct. He was released and scheduled to appear in court this summer, according to jail records. There was in fact an outstanding warrant for Wright's arrest, according to Hennepin County authorities, who said it was issued after Wright failed to appear for a court hearing on April 2nd. The charge involving unlicensed gun Wright was allegedly caught carrying. Okay. So, y'all, they're already trying to tarnish this kid's legacy or memory. And, this is what's so funny about this, y'all. They always want to bring up a victim's past. They always do that, y'all. And it's saddened that when you got white suspects, you never notice they never bring up their past or their criminal history. And what about that police? What about that officer? She has a history. But the mainstream media don't want to bring that up. So they try to tarnish this man's legacy and not legacy, but tarnish this man's memory. And they always do that when it comes to victims like Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Laquan McDonald, Rekia Boyd, and others. They're always bringing up their criminal past. And that is totally unnecessary. A kid was murdered by a police officer, and yet y'all still want to bring up his past? Give me a break. And this is about to get worse. Wright's family has hired attorney Ben Crump. Here we go. A civil rights lawyer who has in the past represented the families of other victims of police misconduct, including George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. We just want people to know Daunte was a good kid, the family said in a statement. He loved being a father to Daunte Jr. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Daily Beast article. See, y'all, this woman right here, I'm very concerned about, because it seems to me that not only she is a 26-year veteran, which means she's a veteran officer, veteran cop, but she's also a former president of a police union in Minnesota. That means she has power, and I'm not gonna be surprised that they're gonna let this woman go. And they're gonna say, "Well, we did tell Daunte to stop, and I thought I had a taser, but I accidentally shot him with a gun." But realistically, y'all, the difference between you can tell the difference between a taser and a gun. A gun is a lot heavier than carrying a taser. I'm telling you that right now. And most officers have their tasers on their left side of the holster, while they have a service weapon and a gun on the right side of a holster. So you telling me that when she say taser, and she pull out her gun instead? Oh my God, really? And like I said, I'm concerned that this is gonna be another Amber Guyger and Betty Shelby situation. I'm telling you. And for those of you who don't know who Betty Shelby was, she was a Tulsa, Oklahoma police officer that fatally shot Terrence Crutcher, and they let her go. And now she got promoted in a better position as a training officer or something like that. I don't even remember what her new job position is. I'm sorry, but this is going to be another Amber Guyger and Betty Shelby situation. Watch what I tell you. They're gonna let, and then she's a former president of the police union too. Yeah, they're gonna let her off. Y'all let me know what you think about this. I mean, I'm concerned, y'all, that this officer will get a slap of the wrist because of her 26-year veteran. And remember, when it first came out, we all thought she was a rookie cop, but it turns out that no, she was a 26-year veteran, and she was a former president of the police union, and that's power. So more than likely, unless they got physical evidence that she did a lot of stuff far more worse than what she did to Daunte, right? They're gonna let her walk with a slap of the wrist, like they did with basically like they did with Betty Shelby. Watch what I tell you. Y'all let me know what you think. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.